Hello, I'm Jill Menze, news editor at PhocusWire, and we're joined here today with Klaus Kohlmayr, who is Chief Evangelist and Development Officer at Ideas. So Klaus, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here.
Great. So I wanted to just start by asking, what are the biggest questions you're getting from your hospitality clients right now?
The number one question we're getting from our clients right now is the increased need for automation. And that's just driven by the labor shortages we see in the industry around the world. And that's obviously has an impact on revenue management talent and revenue management capabilities. So the number one question is, how do we make systems more automated? How do we move more stuff up into the corporate offices so less people can make more decisions for more hotels, more automated?
Yeah, and can you talk a bit about some of the solutions you have to address that?
Yeah, we have a number of products that help hotels with revenue management and pricing decisions. So we price about 16,000 hotels today, every day. We have a product that is geared towards very complex hotels or medium complex hotels that automatically prices hotel rooms on an ongoing basis. And you can do that at the hotel level or at the central level. And then we have other products that are more geared towards the simpler hotels. We also work with holiday parks, campgrounds, apartments, vacation rentals, and we also work with parking lots. So
there you
go. Parking lots around the world as well.
Parking lots. There you go. That's a conversation I think for another time probably. But we've talked on PhocusWire before about this idea of the revenue management of the future. Can you explain what that is exactly, and what will revenue management look like in, say, 5 years' time?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more automated. We've always been very focused on being a decision system rather than a recommendation system. So we see more and more hotels just letting the system run with very minimal interaction. We've just rolled out one of our products across 4,000 hotels for one of the major brands, and we see a 91% acceptance rate of the pricing decisions that we send to all of these hotels every day. And that's quite spectacular. So that just proves that hotels are more and more willing to just let the system run and let it do its job with minimal interference. The other thing that is a big trend is just more data interconnections and integrations. Which leads us to a whole area of making commercial systems smarter, integrating pricing with CRMs, with marketing automation, with distribution, with loyalty systems, with corporate management systems. So the revenue management capabilities will branch out and make the other systems smarter as well, because we want to really give the commercial leaders the science that they need to make better decisions more automated.
So will there even be a role of a revenue manager in the future, or is it all just going to be automated, or what,
No, I think there will. We've talked about this for at least 20 years. It's just the role of a revenue manager is more of a revenue strategist and commercial leader that understands what the different taps are and the different levers they have to turn on commercial success, and then use the tools as indicators and as the places where they implement the strategies that they set. But you will need a person to set the right strategies that then get implemented. And what we've seen over the last 2 years or last 18 months with COVID is it takes the machine and the human working
you can't
together.
have one without the kind of need.
Absolutely. So you will definitely need a strategist, a commercial strategist, to drive the right strategies for the business they're trying to optimize.
Yeah. What would you say to a hotel that, who has all these operational challenges, but say they think that their revenue management system is working okay? What is going to prioritize them to think about it differently or to change it if they're sort of okay with how it's going?
Yeah, I think just looking beyond the typical price per room, we're moving into optimizing channels, we're moving into optimizing profitability. We're looking at total revenue rather than just room revenue. So the discipline of revenue management and the commercial strategy that goes with that is becoming much, much broader as more and more data gets ingested and the decisions that we generate get fed into more and more systems. So rather than just thinking my revenue management system is working well, you should think about, how do I optimize my total revenue? How do I optimize my profitability? How do I optimize my channels differently or most effectively? And how do I actually pull all that together into a real cohesive commercial strategy.
Great, great. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about sustainability. And where is the hotel industry at with that? And what are you seeing happening in that space? We're mentioning hotels are dealing with a lot right now. So how do they put sustainability in the mix, and where do you sort of see that at?
I think it's a big conversation that is currently happening in Europe. I was just speaking at a sustainability conference in September in Munich, and where a lot of the conversation was around what is the customer's expectations around sustainability for the industry, and how will customer expectations drive sustainability for the industry. I don't see the same level of conversation at the moment in the US yet, because there's so many other things happening. But there's definitely going to be a increased demand by either companies that are doing business with hotel companies, that are contracting with hotel companies, or the consumers themselves that are going to demand from the hotel industry to demonstrate the sustainability efforts. And that might have an impact of how customers shop, which hotels they choose, based on carbon footprint, sustainability measures taken. And I could see in the future some form of sustainability rating or sustainability index for the industry that will be part of the decision-making factor.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you see surveys and things, they'll say, travelers have a very big interest in sustainability and they're looking for different things. But, you don't always necessarily see that in action. So it's like, how are you going to get a guest, for example, to incentivize them to use less energy in some capacity?
Right. Yeah, Google has just started to display on Google Flights, right? The carbon footprint for flights. I could see, big companies imposing on hotel companies sustainability measures and sustainability indexes, for example. And that will force the industry to accelerate their efforts in that. As I said, I think in Europe there's a whole conversation going on.
Right.
There's lots of efforts going on in that area, and I'm sure that's going to spill over to the US and will accelerate the efforts there, which are really needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. And can you talk a little bit about your profit optimization solution and sort of what's next for that, or what are you going to continue to build there?
For the longest time, revenue management has kind of been stuck in revenue managing rooms and pricing rooms, and then we talked about total revenue optimization. And what we have done is actually we've moved beyond that, and we've launched capabilities just recently. With one of our technology partners and a large resort company, that we're able to feed in not just the revenues and the expected revenue spent, but we're also able to understand the cost that can be attributed to each of the different revenue streams, and the cost that for acquisitions and the cost of servicing that particular guest. And we're optimizing according to profitability rather than to revenue, which has a different mindset and different philosophy, because you're getting very different outcomes once you start factoring in the cost of acquisition, cost of servicing the customer, and the different revenue streams and profitability levels for a customer's journey throughout a hotel stay or a resort stay. And that's been very well received, and some very interesting outcomes in that. And we see more and more interest in just optimizing profitability rather than just the revenue.
Just the revenue component, yeah. Great. Any other products or anything you want to talk about that Ideas is working on that we should know about?
No, we're just very excited to be here. First time in 2 years at Phocuswright, which is always exciting. And I'm really excited about all the innovation that we're seeing in the market. And I'm excited that finally hotel companies are realizing the competitive advantage they can create through revenue management and revenue optimization. The most recent earning calls, I think 2 or 3 out of the top 5 CEOs of the top 5 brands have all mentioned revenue management as a key driver. So we're very happy about that. So the industry is realizing the opportunity for revenue management and sophisticated revenue management systems, which is great.
Great. Well, this is great. Good to be in person, not through a Zoom call.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining us.
A pleasure. Thank you.